but I know that's a good chance I'm going to end up like Coppola and not be so lucky. That, by the way, is unbelievable amount of luck that that movie turned out as great as it did, and skill, but also luck because he's not consistent. His next like 5 movies show the bad side. One from the Heart was the disaster film. He also did Cotton Club, which we saw from.
That one was disaster.
That was a disaster, huge disaster. Also part of why he went bankrupt. And then he did the Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula. And okay, and that he had a damn famous novel to go on. So it's you know don't get cocky. Be willing to learn and also work on your weaknesses. So organization or lack thereof is my weakness. So I'm going through this process, even though I didn't for dog years. Well, it was different. I was shooting one day a week, and I would spend Tuesday doing the prep for that day. So I didn't really. This is and again, it's a weakness now. So I'm trying. And dog years wasn't a huge hit. It's out there. It got distributed. But how much better would it have been if I'd taken the time to really organize and been able to then spend time getting better performances, etc. Really use my resources. Okay, so it's all there. It's self-explanatory, and then it's going to tell you what colors each thing gets and the things you're supposed to be paying attention to. So, what's number one?
Number one.
It's hot. What does it mean? It says 75. Who says this stuff? 75.
She
Skinny
can't reach
people
it.
said
She has to stand on her feet.
Linda Chappelle. She's always turning shit up.
That's because she's so damn skinny.
That's right. Goddamn. Take us fat people into account,
Yeah,
goddamn.
take her to knife can eat.
I got a fat coat on.
Yep.
Damn skinny people. All right. So what color? What's number one? Or sorry, item 12, the first box.
Red.
Cass, what colors you get?
Red.
Rojo.
Okay. So, what are you guys gonna need to get if you don't have already?
Highlighters.
Highlighters or I prefer pencils because the highlighters tend to bleed through a little bit too much. So I like colored pencils. Plus they're cheap.
Rojos.
Go across over here, go to the school supply section, you can find an assortment of colored pencils. Although you want to make sure they have all the colors you need. All right. So red, good. What color do stunts get?
Orange.
Now, why do you bother writing your stunts?
So somebody doesn't get killed. I don't know.
Yeah. So when you're filming, when you're planning. Oh shit! I got a stunt that day. I need to make sure I have. Here's what would have. If I had done this on my first feature-length film, I would not have broken my back. And you guys are aware that I have a broken back. I broke my back. Were you in that class that I had to teach lying on the floor?
No.
Was anyone in that class?
No, I wasn't.
And last January, I had to lie on the floor in front of the class because my back was acting up. I cracked my lowest vertebrae.
Ouch.
Jumping off of a windmill.
Whee!
I did a stunt. And what did I jump into? A Mexican blanket.
What's that? Poncho?
Like, yeah, the kind you buy at the beach for $5 or whatever. And I ripped right through it like it wasn't there. Rip!
Oh, they were trying to catch you.
They were doing a fireman's catch, right? Now I had planned it, and I was even getting out like a big comforter, and the idiot Larry fucking Soroki says, I got a blanket. Okay, pulls it out. It's one of those hand woven, and no insult against Mexico. It's those blankets are made out of like grass or something, It's not polyester, And so I ripped right through the damn thing. And so I broke my back.
How high was the jump?
About 15 feet.
That ain't bad. And you broke your back off of that?
I stood on near the top of a windmill.
You should have said you were
I
pushed.
had a costume with wings on it, and I pushed myself off like this and fell backwards. Wham! Right on my back.
Is there any video of that?
No, and the shot itself was no good. The camera operator fucked it up, and all you see is my feet, but it looks like a bag going through the corner of the frame. You couldn't even tell it was a person. So the shot was no good. It closed down production for
So all that
like
for
10
nothing?
days. I was lucky I'm not paralyzed. So whenever my back starts to really bug me, and you'll see me with a cane limping around, hobbling, and then you'll see me stop and do this. It's actually bothering me right now. Probably just from talking about it.
All
I'm
for
lucky.
nothing.
I'm lucky I didn't die. I'm lucky I didn't get paralyzed. All because if this had been done properly, I would have had a high jump pit mattress, or a classic stuntman from the old days is cardboard boxes.
Yeah.
The cardboard boxes collapse,
Just get a dummy and throw
and
him
you're
off.
fine. I ended up having, I went back with a dummy, climbed up that same windmill and threw the dummy off, and that's the shot we used in the movie.
When I auditioned for Old Tucson, they said, anything 12 feet and under, you just land on the ground.
12 feet and under.
18 and under is, a mattress.
Yeah.
And then anything over 20 is cardboard box.
Yeah. Now, if I had been following that rule, I would have had at least a mattress. But
Yeah, with your luck, a spring would have come up.
I would have been better off. I mean, I was lucky. By the way, that's the only bone I've broken in my life. I have a really heavy-duty skeleton. I've been in motorcycle accidents. I've been in car accidents. I haven't broken anything other than that. So it was a pretty good, imagine though, a straight flat fall going. The fall was at 15 feet, so I was at the top of a windmill, so whatever that is. Windmills are pretty tall.
Not 15 feet.
Yeah.
They're like 25 to 30.
Well, maybe it was 20 feet. I'm 6 feet tall, so I was standing, the blade was like right here. So.
Yeah, that's like 30 feet.
Yeah. So, like I said, lucky and stupid. Stupid, unbelievably stupid. Yes, it was my own life that I was risking. Still, I was the goddamn writer / cinematographer on that movie. The movie would never have gotten finished if I had died, or if I'd been paralyzed. I would have at least had to wait till I had gotten a wheelchair. As it was, I finished the rest of the movie with wearing one of those the belts where you lift stuff, strapped real tight, and with a cane, and in constant pain. Horrible, horrific pain for the rest of that shoot. It was not fun. And you're in a bad mood when you're in pain. So I was crabby all the time. The movie might have been much better had that not happened. No, that was a movie called Catastrophe, which I show in the lighting class sometimes, because there was some interesting things, but also because of all the mistakes. That was the first feature-length film I did. That was basically I was you guys a year or two from now. I was just finished my undergraduate studies. Okay. And I've been fat since because I couldn't run anymore. So I was actually thin and good looking at one point.
Thin and good
Chicks
looking?
used to throw their pussy at me.
And then you throw
It was nice, man. Yeah, I'd be walking down the street, bam! I'm stealing that. That's Eddie Murphy. But it was true. I had one run. It was amazing. It's like I couldn't go out without some chick hitting on me. It was in Manhattan Beach.
That's another reason to make movies.
I'm like, go to this bar, and I just got done nailing this pretty hot lawyer who was represented the Surfrider Foundation, drove a Mustang, this old mid-60s Mustang, real cool. I'm like, go to this bar, and if I hadn't probably just been late, it would have been a different story, but I'm sitting at this bar, like, I just want a drink, I don't want anyone to bother me. This chick sits down next to me, completely all over, hitting me. And the bartender comes over, but she wasn't really my type, so I was like, okay. And the bartender comes over and sets down a Goldschlager shot. Says, that's from this table over there. And I turn around, and it's this table of like 4 chicks, and the one who sent it was exactly my type.
Yeah, buddy.
And I'm like, damn. And the girl who was hitting on me grabs the Goldschlager shot, tosses it back, grabs me by the back of my head, pulls me forward, and then squirts the shot into my mouth. And of course, I'm not even expecting it, so it's like half of it goes all over. And she's like, that was so rude, I could be your wife for all she knows. I'm like, maybe she saw you sit down. Anyway, so she gets up and goes to the bathroom at some point, and I'm like, I got up and left. And got the F out. And I'm telling her, I'm like, look, I'm only in town for a few more days. She says, I don't care. I'm like, okay, fuck this. I'm not sticking anything of mine inside of you. And I got out. Like I said, if I hadn't just gotten laid the day before, I totally would have nailed her probably. But
True story.
That's all true.
True
All
Hollywood
right.
story.
So I am fat and ugly now because I did not do proper pre-production. It's also so that's what I'm saying.
It's tragic.
I'm saying if I had done this, so go through. Let me see. Let me mark everyone's. Hold up your screenplays, those of you who have it. Okay, Trey.
Get a chance to print it out.
Hold on, hold on. Maxwell, no. Omar, yes.
Maxwell, yes, but not
Derek?
with me.
Oh, you got it up here. Thank you. Now, does anyone need to keep?
Yeah, I don't need to keep.
Ernest, you guys yours?
Looking to see if I have it.
Slacker.
This time.
Ron, good job. Yes or no, Ernest? Good. Okay. Do any of you need to keep this copy? You have other copies? Okay, so I'll collect those.
Yeah, I gotta
Can we
keep
make
mine.
another copy that we could actually see?
Well, you're going to be making another copy because the next copy you're going to do is going to have scene numbers. Just handwrite them, and then you're going to take those 2 pages at least and do some breakdowns. Now, you might have only one scene for those 2 pages. Okay.
I got like 13 scenes.
Well, then you're going to have to make photocopies.
I gotta keep mine.
Oh, this is your outline. You have your screenplay?
No, I don't.
Ooh. I gotta keep it.
Oh, you got to keep yours.
I
Okay.
gotta keep it.
So hand it in. Next week I'll be collecting your shooting script versions, which just means they have scene numbers, and your breakdowns. Clear? So, just a few things. Extras and atmosphere, we talked about that versus silent bits. Clear?
Yep.
If someone's doing something very specific and you're going to need to make sure it's the same person the next time, that's a silent bit. If it doesn't matter who and they don't show up, you can just throw someone else in, that's an extra. Okay.
Hey, is special effects also considered sounds?
If you're going to need something very specific while you're filming, but if it's audio, you shouldn't have anything that you're worried about while you're filming. That's post-production.
What is
So-
special effects, like explosions?
Anything that's going to require a special effects person, anything, what you're doing is you're putting down anything that you need to make sure you don't frickin' forget when you're out there filming. So for me, like in my last example, like a high jump pit would have been really smart not to have forgotten. Or cardboard boxes, right? So, but also security teachers, if you're working with kids, you need to have a teacher. You need to have, if they're under 18, they need to have a tutor on set. Well, it could be their parent, we're small budget, whatever. But remind yourself, you got a kid that day, right? Vehicles / animals, you got a horse in that scene. make sure you got it down, because it's also gonna remind you need to make sure you have the horse trailer, the horse uh, wrangler, right? So, props, self-explanatory, you guys know what that is. Special effects, anything you're gonna need on set while you're filming to pull off that special effects. Nowadays, they got special effects supervisors there on set, making sure everything's gonna line up. Don't forget your green screen, your blue screen.
I do agree.
Right, you're gonna need, if you're doing that, you're gonna need to make sure you've got this so you remind yourself. Wardrobe is only thing, if it's something special or if it's a day like where they fall in the mud, you need to make sure you have like 5 sets of the same outfit so you can do more takes. And once they fall in the mud, you can't wait to go send it off to the laundry and come back. So that's when you write the wardrobe down. The estimated number of setups that you're just gonna guess on from experience, but it's gonna help you figure out how long it's gonna take. Again, production time is just a guess, but it's helping you figure it out. Special equipment, we're gonna talk more about that, we're gonna look at some examples, but let's say you wanna have a crane, a really fancy crane shot. Well, you're gonna list that. Why? Because you're going to get your money out of that crane. You're gonna rent it for one weekend, or one day. And you're gonna shoot every scene that has a crane shot that day. Then you're gonna turn it back in. Why? Because a crane's gonna be $1,000 to $5,000 a day rental. And if you don't need it for the whole damn shoot, why would you spend $50,000 to rent it?
Screw that.
You're going to rent it for one day. Here's $1,000, and you film everything that has a crane shot that day, or over that weekend, or whatever, and turn it back in, and then you're done. And that's going to tie into how you're going to schedule things. So that's why you have special equipment. Production notes, anything special, any bit of information that is important. I started to write shot with scenes number 1 and 5, and then I scratched it out. But let's see. Page 2, I've got in props, I've got China dolls, special dolls, dress family photos. Production notes. This is really 6 through 12 scenes, because this is the credit sequence. In my screenplay, I just wrote credit sequence, because I write like that. Credit sequence. But I've got it rugby pitches, slash bars, day and night, exterior and interior. So this is getting complicated, right? Well, it's the credit sequence. I need all the cast, I need all the teams, I'm gonna be special effects. Yeah, that's good. I'm gonna over crank, which means what?
Slow motion.
I got slow motion. And I need team jerseys and rugby kits. I need rugby gear. I need beer. Yes, I wrote beer here, lots of beer.
Yes.
And under special equipment, what did I write? If I'm over cranking,
Special police.
what do I need? High-speed camera, that's what it says, high-speed camera. Why? Why is that important?
So you can do the slow motion.
So I can do the slow motion, and I don't own a high-speed camera. It's not part of my standard equipment. I have a camera that will shoot, I think, 48 frames per second. That's not fast enough. So I have to rent it. I have to rent a high-speed camera. So what am I going to do? I'm going to do all the slow motion on one weekend. And here's your camera back. So all my slow motion stuff is going to be grouped together. So that's basically it.
How much are those high-speed cameras? How much do those cost?
To rent?
Yeah.
It changes every day. So, and the way rentals work is you basically, they have a day rate and then a weekly rate. So it's like $200 a day or $400 a week. That's how rentals work, essentially, usually, and it varies depending on the rental house. Right now, I had been planning on using my 16mm camera to shoot the high-speed scenes, because when I started planning this way 3 years ago, they didn't have true high-speed cameras except for the red camera, which I knew that's going to be expensive. But now, just within the last year, they've been making high-speed video HD cameras that are relatively reasonable to rent. So I'm going to be shooting with that rather than shooting on 16mm, because my 16mm camera can shoot 72 frames per second, which isn't as fast as I really want it to shoot, meaning as slow as I really want it. And I'd have to have the lab develop the process the negative, transfer it to HD before I could use it, which would mean $1,000 to $3,000 for the amount of footage I want. Now I